Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, we will learn how to create a responsive navigation bar using only HTML and CSS. As you can see here on my computer screen, I have one logo. Also, here I have one navigation bar with some menu list. You can see also on our navigation menu, there's some beautiful hover effect. Also, we have this drop down menu. Also, there's some beautiful hover effect. Lastly, I have this one image, background image. Now, let's see this. We're going to inspect this to see if this is very responsive. So say inspect. Here you can see this is very responsive. So we are going to create this responsive navbar using the CSS flexbox and also media queries from scratch. So before starting this video, kindly please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So without wasting time, let's start the video. Hello guys, welcome back again. So here I have created one folder called responsive bar. So inside this folder I have one image and one logo. So we're going to open this folder with our text editor. So I'm using Visual Studio Code as my text editor. So here firstly we're going to create one file with index called index.html. Also we need to create one more file that is for our CSS. So I'm going to create one file called style.css. So inside your index.html, here I'm going to write the basic HTML structure. Also, I'm going to give it a title. Next, we need to connect our style.css with HTML. So by doing that, we need to use the link tag and it will automatically connect your style.css with HTML. Next, we need to create is under the body. Here we will create one div with a class name navbar. Also, inside this div, we're going to add one logo. So we are using one div. We're going to create one more div with a class name logo. Also, we are going to add img source logo.png. Simply save this file, come back to your folder, open this with your browser. So here we can see we have our logo at the top of this page. Next, we need to add is we need to create one URL with a class name navlinks. Inside this URL, we need to add input and label. So for this one, I'll use the checkbox hack to create our hamburger. Also, I'm going to add an ID. Next, I'm going to add a label. We're going to add a class called checkbox. No, we need to add a class called hamburger. Next, after this, we need to add our menu list. So here, I'm going to create one div with a class name menu. Inside this menu, I will add my list items. Simply, you duplicate this by copying it. I'm going to change my text for the second list. Also, we are going to create one list with a class name services. Inside this list, we are going to create our drop-down menu. So after this, we need to create our drop-down menu using again, we're going to create one URL with a class name drop-down. Inside this class, we're going to create our list items. So I'm going to give it a text drop-down. 1. Simply duplicate this, change the numbers for our second list, third list, and also our fourth list. Now after this, we need to create two more lists. So by doing that, I'm going to simply duplicate this, copy and paste this. So here I'm going to add my text. Also one more list, that is going to be contact. So that's all. So at the end of this nav, so I'm going to change this class to nav. So let's change that to nav. So at the end of this nav, I'm going to add my img source, one image, that is image dot. Also I'm going to add width and height. I'm going to give it 800 by 600. You can see here I have this one image. This is the image that I'll be using to create this responsive navbar. Also I have this logo. Now for all the images and the logo, I'll provide it in my video link description that you can, so that you can also download it and follow this tutorial. Next we need to create is, we need to style this. So simply save this and see our progress so far. Refresh your page. Now you can see we have our image, our drop down menu. Also we have our checkbox. So now if we scroll up, under this label we need to add a code to create the hamburger. So here we're using the checkbox hack to create the menu icon. Now if you save this, you're going to see your hamburger icon. Now let's add some styling to make this responsive. So firstly, I'm going to write the basic one, like giving the margin 0, padding 0. Also, I'm going to say box sizing to be border box. After this, I'm going to start with my body. For my body, I'm going to provide it font family. Also, I'm going to add background color. Next is we're going to start styling with our anchor tag. So for my anchor tag, I'll give it text decoration to be none. Next is my list style, none. So here we're going to start styling our navbar. So first I'll start with my class navbar. Remember that we have created one nav with a class name navbar. So for this class, I'm going to give display to be flex. Also, I'm going to add align items, center, justify content to be space between. Also, we are going to add padding of 20 pixel. Next, we'll add background color. Lastly, I'm going to add color. Next, we are going to style our nav links. Anchor tag. So here I'm going to add color. Now let's style our logo. So I'm going to create my class logo. For this class, I'm going to add font size of 32 pixel. Next, let's style our menu. For this class, we'll add display to be flex, gap to be 1. Also, we'll add font size of 18 pixel. Next, we're going to add some hover effect on our list items. For this one, I'm going to change the background color. Also, we'll add border radius of 5 pixels. Lastly, I'm going to add transition. Next, we're going to style our list, menu list. So here I'm going to give it only one thing, that is padding, and I'm going to give it 5 pixel by 14 pixel. Next is my drop down menu. So I'll start with the class services. With this one, I'm going to say position to be relative. Next is my class drop down. Here I'm going to add background color to be black. Also, we'll add padding. Position, display to be none. Border radius of 8 pixel. Lastly, I'm going to say top 35 pixel. Now let's save this and see what we have done so far. So go back to your browser, refresh it. Now you can see we have our background image, and also we have our logo. Also you can see we have some hover effect on our menu list. Now come back with your text editor. Here I'm going to style my drop down list. For here I'm going to say margin to be 10 pixel. Next is my drop down list, padding, width, text align to be center. Next we need to add hover effect on our drop down list. So I'll say drop down list hover. For this one, I'm going to add background color again, and I'm going to use the same color as we used for our list, first list. Okay. So next is my class services. Also here I'm going to add hover effect. For this one, I'm going to say display to be block. Now save this, go back to your browser, refresh it. Now you can see we have our drop down menu, and you can see there's some beautiful hover effect. Come back to your text editor. So here we need to make our website, our responsive bar very responsive. Okay. So to make this responsive, we need to add some media queries on CSS flexbox. So firstly, I'm going to use checkbox. So we're going to style our checkbox. So for that, I'm going to say input. Then here I'm going to give it a type, and the type is going to be checkbox. Open curly braces. I'm going to say display to be none. Next, come here, going to style our class hamburger. So for this class, I'm going to give it display to be none. Next, I'm going to say font size of 24 pixel. Also, I'm going to say user interface, or we can use user select, and I'm going to say none. Now save this, go back to your browser, refresh it. Now you can see you can see our icon for now. So we need to make this navigation bar responsive. So by doing that, we need to add some media queries and CSS flexbox. So here I'm going to apply firstly media queries by using the media only screen. I'm going to give it a max width not less than 768 pixel. Here I'm going to start with my class menu, display to be none, also position to be absolute, background color. Next, I'm going to say right 0, also left to be 0. Text align, padding. Next is my menu list over. So for this one, I'm going to say display to be inline block, background color. Also, I'm going to add transition of 0.3 second is. Next, we're going to style our drop down. So say menu list plus list li. So for this one, I'm going to say margin top to be 12 pixel. Next is my menu icon, or we can say hamburger. So for this one, I'm going to create our input. And remember, we created the type to be checkbox. Open curly braces. So here I'm going to say checked. And here I'm going to use the sibling and our class menu. For this one, I'm going to say one thing, that is display to be block. Next is my class hamburger. So for this one also I'll say display to be block. Next is my drop down, left to be 50%. Also we'll add top of 30 pixel. Lastly, I'm going to say transform, translate y, or let's use translate x, and I'll give it 35%. Lastly is for our drop down list over, going to add a background color. Now save this, go back to your web browser, refresh it. Now you can see our menu list is on the left side, so we need to make it on the right side. So by doing that, come back to your text editor. So guys, we need to correct that mistake. So by doing that, let's come back to our index.html, check our class navbar. You can see we want our navbar to be on the right side. So by doing that, come back here. Here you can see we created class called, we have misspelled spelled our classes, so ignore this one. So for this one, I'm going to correct to navbar. Save that, come back to your text editor, your web browser, refresh it. Now you can see we have our navbar on the right side. Also, there's some beautiful over effect. Now, lastly, we need to make our image responsive. So by doing that, come back to your index.html. Here, I'm going to create a class called responsive. Save that file. Now we need to add some styling to make it responsive. So after this, here I'm going to create my class responsive. I'm going to give it max width 100%. Also height to be auto. Background size cover. Now save this. Come back to your web browser. Refresh it. Now let's see if this navigation bar is responsive. So kindly right click and say inspect. You can see our image is very responsive. So now let's click. We can see our hamburger icon. Let's click it and see if it can display our menu list. Therefore, it can display our list. Let's try with different devices. So guys, we have completed creating this navigation bar using only HTML and CSS. So if you enjoyed this video, kindly please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and till next time, bye.